Okay, this is going to be back to the old days where I'm just giving straight actionable advice right away, just because before 2026 starts, I think every coach and consultant needs to hear this. And the fundamental rule of business is not much more different than what you see on headlines from big tech or anything. For example, the main outlier that I want to draw upon is Jensen Huang, where at the before he was major in the headlines, he was just known for making computer graphics cards for gamers. And he was playing within such a small market, but then he noticed a trend and capitalized on it by doing the same thing but building it for a different market. And this is the same thing that I'm seeing with coaches and consultants as well, not specifically with what they do, but who they're marketing to. And so in this video, let me explain how you could adapt to this digital gold rush that is happening beneath your eyes and how you're going to exactly get ahead of them so that you stop messing around in this red ocean and start creating your own blue ocean, meaning you're making your own monopoly. And so let me first explain how I came to this conclusion and back it up so that you know that I'm not just making this shit up. And so the first thing I need you to understand is that the people that adopt the earliest to the newest trending topic is who are winning. So, for example, in 2008, Facebook ads were the latest and greatest thing when it first came out. The fact is, nobody knew or nobody tried to even experiment with it. But the people that did, they came out with millions of dollars. And so this is the same. You see it time and time again with Instagram in 2016 and TikTok booming in 2020 over COVID. And I'm putting my left nut on it that 2026 is going to be year of YouTube. And so why do I believe this to be the way it is? So over time, maybe you live under a rock, but cable news is dying, and so are so many of the other digital platforms. For example, Netflix, Disney Plus, Roku, everything you see on there. They are losing their market share, and it is all flooding in towards YouTube. And so I have a few predictions on why this is, but this doesn't reflect any of the rest of the things that I will say later on in this video. But my prediction is that over time, as inflation increases and the cost of living is a little bit harder, people just need to adapt and make more money. And to make more money, you need to be more educated and you need to provide more value to the marketplace. And the only way to do that is by learning from other people that do that. And so you can't learn from somebody on Netflix on how to scale a 100K offer, but you can do that with the beauty of YouTube. And so that's my first prediction, but that is really irrelevant to what I'm about to say. And so the major flaw is with Netflix and Disney Plus is that they need to spend billions of dollars to have content on their platform, while YouTube spends $0 on putting content on their distribution. And it's because creators are doing it for free. And the reason why they do it for free is it's not rocket science. They do it for free because they could traffic all that attention that they get over onto their coaching platform. So it's a win-win situation where YouTube, the platform themselves, makes a lot of dollars from AdSense, from selling ads to viewers of that video. And the people that are putting up that content, they're happy with it because not only they're making maybe a few percentage off AdSense, but they get way more higher ticket clients from just monetizing millions of views on their videos. Netflix and Disney do not have the same leverage that YouTube has. And this is the key flaw in why this triggers all these dominoes I'm going to be talking about in this video. So think about it this way. So for example, Netflix has to buy the rights to own these videos or these series and to be able to then show it to you on their platform, right? So the reward is going left to right, where they own this and they have to serve it to you. But on YouTube, it is the complete opposite, where now it is going to the right, where I am now looking for these kinds of creators, depending on what you actually like to watch. And so this is why distribution is so much easier for YouTube as a company compared to Netflix and Disney. And so how does this trickle into everything? So this is how you as an online coach or consultant, I guarantee you are at least running into one, if not all of these problems. One, you're probably running into unpredictable lead flow, right? One day you could have one video that just pops off and boom, you suddenly have so much new traffic to monetize. The downside is you can't capture all that because your capacity is not built for it yet. But what are you going to do with it? You can't do anything with it. So many of it goes to waste. Second, it's hard to stand out nowadays. I don't think you have to be a genius to figure this one out. But now, before 3 years ago, if you're a coach, the average coach or consultant, if you bought, let's say, a $500,000 car, you would be the talk of the town for probably the rest of the year. And that's how Iman Gotzi first blew up, because he was, I would say, first on the bandwagon of showing digital wealth through purchasing very exclusive high-end cars, right? And so as soon as he was the first one to do it, many people also jumped on that same trend where they would have to buy even a better car than what Iman Gotzi got so that they would even just show out in front of the competition. And so if you zoom out, what does that leave the competition? Oh, wow, would you look at that? Everybody has a fucking supercar, right? And it gets even more to the scarier point where now a lot of average coaches, it's impossible for them to stand out. But they think that buying a car is what's going to make them stand out. So they take predatory loans, whatever the fuck you want to say. I don't want to even comment on that. But now them buying a regular Urus does not do anything in terms of their marketing or impressions. And so another problem that you're probably going through is the exhaustion of short form. So the first main thing is that it's impossible to get anything done on short form. I've done it previously before, back in the days when it was a little bit easier. Now it is not the same. Where previously I made $2.4 million in 6 months for a client. I always tell people straight up that there's no way I could ever do that again. I could not mimic those results. Because think about it. You need to see at least, on average, 15 times of something to be even considering to purchase it, right? But on Instagram, if you make a very great video, you know how you get rewarded? You don't get rewarded, because as soon as you're done with one great video, let's say this was a great video and it was so good, you swipe off, the next video is not yours. But on YouTube, as soon as you have one really good video, then you could tag on the next video and the next video and the next video instead of just leaving it up to the algorithm, right? And so that's one of the biggest things. And lastly, this is what 99% of the coaches and consultants I run into, they always say this one problem, which is the revenue plateaued and they're just depending on the referrals or manual outbound. And that is no way to scale your company, especially past 50K. And so the main thing before I give my actual advice to you on how you could start making money from this is first, just assess the landscape. You have to understand that the market of just digital education is growing. And if you're running $1 billion company like YouTube, you have to just have a slight pulse on this. And they probably know it themselves. If you see platforms like School and WAP just growing in valuation, getting tons of traffic each and every day, YouTube has 99% of their problems solved. All they have to do is just add the feature of hosting digital courses. And would you look at that? They're already posturing for it. This is, I would say, the biggest Achilles heel for WAP and for School is that they don't have the same distribution compared to YouTube. Think about it. You have 5 million views on YouTube, let's just say. You have to direct them straight to your landing page and then over to your WAP or over to your School. But on YouTube, you could just get them to not even click a link. You could just tag him into your course so that they could check it out natively in that platform. WAP and School are reliant on YouTube for distribution. YouTube is not reliant on WAP or School. Take that as you will. But for example, one of my clients here, very, very small channel, gets only 3,000 views nowadays, but they still make a fuck ton of money. They don't use WAP, they don't use School, they just have their own platform that they will later on transfer onto YouTube. And so if you're on WAP or School, I personally think you got to get the fuck out. This is not where the digital gold rush is going to be. There will be some excessive growth for them, but not to the extent of YouTube. Where now you're going to have just the regular Joe on YouTube just not even interested in online money. But because they're on that native platform, then the exposure to it is a lot higher than if you were on WAP. And so to wrap this up, I wanted to give you a few methods that I use personally for my own agency that scales coaches and consultants, and how you could do the same thing for free in this video. And this is what I like to call the shuffle method. So the first thing is the exact line from Peter Thiel's book, 0 to 1, which is, what important truth do very few people agree with you on? Everybody likes to complicate the actual game of marketing, but in an essence, it's so fucking easy. All you have to do is say something that most people in society agree on that is factually untrue. Let me say that again. You have to say something that society in general agree upon that is factually untrue. As long as you say that, no matter what, you will be polarizing because a majority of people will automatically disagree with you. The only fact is that since you are right, you will change a lot of people's minds into believing you, and then they will trust you. So let's do this vice versa, where now you take the opposite approach, where you say something that's factually untrue that greater society does not believe in, right? If you say something that greater society does not believe in, you will polarize them. But because you're factually untrue, they will not think you're an authority or an expert. They'll just think you're a retard. You see what I'm saying here? So that is why you must figure out and just point out the basic truth that society has wrong. As long as you do that, you will just naturally work in the algorithm. That's what we do with Bago, where we just get him to say the most basic and obvious things that most software engineers just don't want to accept. And just naturally, he is already going to be polarizing. And then from there, you will only be left with the people that actually have not a walnut brain and actually realize the errors of their thinking and actually believe in Bago. Next thing, main thing, if you've watched or if you read $100 million offers, Alex Hormozi says this all the time. The riches are in the niches. Instead of being just a regular red ocean, fighting up for scraps trading coach, be a trading coach for people with a minimum of $500,000 that they trade with. Already, you're going to be able to charge way more, and also you'll just filter out the brokies. I don't get how in the age of 2026, with so many marketing resources out in the world, people still don't understand this concept. Just make yourself slightly different. Don't compete on being better. Compete on just being different. And then this one's an easy one if you have a lot of clients that you service, is become a digital catalog of your clients' most frequently asked questions. So this is what I want you to do. For the next 2 weeks, just write down every questions that your client is giving you, whether you're on your call with them or on text. I don't give a fuck. But just as soon as you get their question, you're going to turn that into a video and then just post it. I don't care if you post once a week, 8 times a week, fucking 20 a week. I don't care. But I guarantee you it is going to work a lot better than what you're currently doing. This way, somebody is going to have the same question that your client just asked somewhere out in the world. And so as soon as they're looking for that problem, they're going to want to look for immediate solutions. And so when they search that on YouTube and you come up with the exact same problem and solution that you give in that video, you already have the hottest lead you could ever ask for. And then the last thing is just a basic one, is add 20% to your tone. So I think a lot of people just film whenever they just have to, which then gets them to just be a dead fish when they're really not, when they're a very, excitable, personable person. And so what I encourage you to do before you start filming and press record is add 20% and exaggerate yourself on your true, authentic personality. So if you're a boring person, being an extra 20% doesn't mean be 20% happier if you're a boring person. If you're a boring person, make sure you're a little bit extra boring in that video. For example, Sam Sulik. He is very monotone throughout the entirety of his video. If he started fucking going around being an ape and stopped being a very boring person, it wouldn't be the same. And so you must do the same thing as him. If you're an exciting person, be an extra 20% exciting in that video. And so I guarantee you, if you do all these things within my shovel method, you're going to dominate this 2026 year. It's guaranteed, right? And so be the early adopter, don't give a fuck, and just capitalize on all the trends that you're seeing on the wall right now.